Hey everybody, I'm Jenny Burkhart, and then Amanda Jones is also here. And as you guys know, we are currently in Gardner-Webb's MELS program. And through this program, we have come across some data that we have analyzed, and we'll talk about that data in just a second. But from that data that we have had a chance to look at, we've come up with some recommendations that we think could be implemented through the SIT team that could bring improvement to West Davidson. We like to share those with you and get your feedback at the end.
All right, so the first area of focus is going to be on empowerment. And from the teacher working conditions survey, we found our first area of focus to be the faculty has an effective process for making group decisions to solve problems. And the percentage of teachers in agreement at West Davidson was 71. And again, all of these are low percentages compared to the district and the state. So we picked out some of West Davidson's weaknesses. The second area of focus in leadership is that the school improvement team provides effective leadership at this school, and the percentage of teachers in agreement were only 78%. Our next area of focus was facilities. Items from the teachers working conditions survey is that the school environment is clean and well maintained, and this was our lowest at 62% of teachers in agreement. Another area of focus in the area of resources, teachers have sufficient access to appropriate instructional materials, and the percentage of teachers in agreements at West Davidson is 78%. In the area of time, class sizes are reasonable such that teachers have time available to meet the needs of all students, and this one is particularly low at 27%. But again, like we know, we don't typically have caps on our class sizes like elementary and middle school does. So I think most people are going to be in agreement with the fact that we don't have good class sizes. They're way too large.
So the first set of recommendations that we came up with deal with that empowerment. And we thought three might work for West Davidson. So the first is to provide more opportunities for teachers to express their opinions. We know that right now, currently, you are allowed to do that through SIT team, but we thought we might want to open up some more options to make that a little bit more available to other people. We also thought that maybe we should start surveying all staff members when we're making decisions that affect the whole school. We know that most decisions are made through SIT team, but perhaps before we made that decision, we got a survey from the staff, from all staff members to see how everyone felt. And then we would need to share and review the SIT notes within each department so that all parties are actively engaged. We want to make sure everybody has their voice heard and not just a select few individuals. In terms of leadership, we think that all SIT members need to be identified to the staff. I know a lot of you guys don't even know who's on SIT team, so having everybody know that could make this process flow a little bit easier. And we also need the SIT team to be transparent in the decisions they make and not make anything look underhanded or shady when it comes to making a decision. We need to know why that decision was brought about and why the decision was being made. And then we also need to make sure that departments are voting on SIT team members and not just having people volunteer, because we need to make sure that sometimes people volunteer and other people might feel like that they don't want to have that opportunity because they don't want to step on any toes, but really it should be a voted position. For facilities, we think that custodians should be informed when there are any unclean areas immediately. Our custodians do a great job, but they can't always know when there's a mess if no one tells them. We also think that administration should maybe make a few more rounds to ensure that the grounds are kept safe and presentable, especially when we have outsiders come to visit our campus. And finally, we want staff to report any concerns that deal with safetiness or cleanliness to administration as soon as possible. And this is because if no one knows something's wrong, it can't be fixed.
We also need to understand that we have limited staff for custodial areas. So anything that we can do to help would absolutely help. But just bringing that first point in, if you see anything unclean, sometimes they're just not around to be able to see it because they're doing other jobs. So if you will help them out and make it notable instead of maybe complaining about it, we'll try to find a solution for that.
For resources, we think we should provide students with Chromebooks to be one-to-one, and we've actually been able to, we're in the process of doing this. So we are in progress to meet that recommendation. And then we want to allow teacher access to materials that aid in instruction in a timely manner. So if somebody from the district goes to a workshop, we don't want to hear about that next year. We should hear about it now, as soon as it happens. And then we need to allow teachers time to be able to share these resources. We can't expect teachers to do this on their own time, because honestly, we know that's not going to happen. There needs to be some built-in time in the day to make sure that we're having this collaboration each week and for each department. In regards to time, we want to try to reduce class sizes. I know everybody wants smaller classes, but this is something we really need to focus on, because our numbers are not balanced, and that leads to the next one. Is we don't want two sections of the same course for one to have 15 and the other to have 30. That's not fair to either the teachers or the students. So if we could try to balance that out, I think that would be beneficial. And then we also want to provide remediation time within the schedule to be able to help and support students in a timely manner.
And as of right now, we are providing that remediation time with the coded schedule that we have now, but going into the future, if anything ever comes back to normal, we need to make sure that we keep some remediation time in that schedule for this. So again, right now we're doing that, but come next year, if things, the COVID restrictions are lifted, we want to make sure that we still provide that time. So, sorry.
Go ahead.
This ends our recommendations and our showing or pointing out our areas to focus on. And so what we're going to do now is to keep it confidential. We're going to open up for discussions, but we're going to stop recording. So thank you for allowing us to present.